Hello, everybody, and welcome. Mate, 3 in a row now. 3 podcasts in a row within a week. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
That is, well, it's better than our current schedule or our previous schedule of about 3 in the last year.
We're doing all right. Everybody, welcome Cameron Jeffers.
How you doing, mate? So it's 10:15 right now, but I woke up at about 9:30, and I thought we'd discussed it. We're doing a podcast at 9. Mate, I've never got out of bed that fast since I was late for sixth form. I shit myself, honestly.
Well, you didn't even text to make sure.
No, well, first thing I did obviously was went on my phone, looked at my text, and saw that it was 10 o'clock. So I was like, oh, sweet, I'm chilling.
All right, so you've got half an hour to chill. But you were still eating your breakfast when we started recording this. You've probably still got your breakfast there now, haven't you? Right, Cam, quick update on you before we get our guest on, who I'm very excited. We've been waiting for this man for a long bloody time. I'm excited to get on and listen to some of the tales he's going to regale. But one, it's been your birthday, and 2, you signed a new contract with a UCI Conti team. What's going on?
I think it's been. I've been 24 for the past 3 podcasts, mate.
I know, but I didn't have time to mention it because I guess
you forgot.
No,
you forgot, didn't you?
No. I posted on Instagram and told everyone. I was like, "Look at my little son. He's growing up so much. So proud of him."
You know, as they say, another year closer to death.
Did they? No one says that.
Yeah, they do, mate. You're dying from the day you're born. How mad is that to think about?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's far too deep for this time in the morning. But
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, now 24, mate, almost halfway to 50.
How does that make you feel?
I don't feel a day over 15.
You don't look it either, you lucky bugger. Quick shave, a quick haircut, and boom, you're back in sixth form. Well done. Lucky you. Right. Do you want to talk about Ribble or not?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we started. It's been in the works for a few months. We've been chatting to the team, and felt like it was a good, it was a nice transition from kind of working with the Ribble, the brand, the bike brand, and kind of transitioning into the team. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A bit of a step up. Hopefully, get some bigger opportunities and bigger races, but we'll see what next season holds. I think no one really knows yet, do they, whether there's going to be a full season, whether there's going to be a reduced season, or you know what the score is. But yeah, I'm optimistic and I'm excited for the opportunities that come my way.
All right, professional PR boy.
That's very PR friendly.
And do you think, just again, one quick question before we get secret guest on, is it going to affect your YouTube channel? Do you think? Are you going to change what you're doing and your content around your season now or not? No, so part of the contract that I came to the agreement with was like we were going to do a bit more of an alternative calendar. So kind of some way as to how like EF have done it with Lachlan Morton, where you know it's not all about the Tour of Yorkshire or the Tour of Britain. You know, I think a big thing for Ribble is they want to create more stories and personalities behind the riders. So I'm going to kind of lead that. So as well as doing those bigger races, I'll also be doing a lot more. Gravel is one of the things that Ribble want to do this year. What they want to push more gravel. That's a massively growing market, like most bike brands. So yeah, doing some gravel stuff, which should create some pretty cool stories for the videos. But yeah, I think if I'm going to kind of keep up the content schedule and do lots of racing stuff, then I'm probably going to have to employ some help somewhere along the lines to help filming and editing, you know. Oh, right. Get your CVs in, kids. If you can edit, if you can colour grade, what else do you need to be able to do for a YouTube video? And
chat shit,
get banged. Boom. Drop your CVs. Let me have a read of them. See what we can come up with. Let's do some interviews. Let's make a video on interviewing potential cameramen / women. For your channel, right?
I'm down for some women if women want to apply.
Yeah, let's get this man on. Listen, right? This man, I'm going to find out exactly how many. I probably should have found out before, but this man's been part of probably like a good 8 or 9, potentially 10 Grand Tour victories. That's pretty insane, that, isn't it?
Impressive,
isn't it? He's also the founder, CEO, managing director, whatever you want to call it, of a new exciting company called Grand Tour Coffee, making the best, I don't care if this is an advert, making the best coffee that Cameron's supping on now that I've got right in here. It's Ben Jenkins, Swan Year for Team Ineos Grenadiers and, like I said, CEO, owner of Grand Tour Coffee. Ben, how are you?
What's up? All good?
You all right?
You guys all right? Yeah, good.
Let's get some of this on. You deserve that. How many? First up, how many Grand Tour victories have you been part of?
So I think three Tour de France, 2 Giros and a Welter.
Which one was the best for you?
Oh, I don't know. How do you say that without upsetting somebody? I don't know.
They don't listen, mate. Everyone thought the same.
They won't be listening.
I don't know. I mean, I think they just get better every time. You know, I think this year was pretty special, just because of how unique it was at the end. You know, having the 2 guys go into the last stage on the same time. I don't think that'll happen again in my lifetime. And then to have, I think results-wise, the best Grand Tour we've ever done. 7 stages out of 21. With 6 guys at the end.
That's mental, isn't it?
And you had like Nibali riding the race. It was just,
it's unbelievable.
It was pretty cool, pretty special.
We'll come back to probably those in a few moments. First up, let's talk about when we first met. So you were probably Swannian already by then, weren't you? So that was 2011. I just signed for Endura as a rider. Got injured, got a sports massage therapist, not a degree, but a qualification, and I joined the team then as a soigneur, and that's kind of where we first met, and we ended up doing quite a few jobs together, didn't we?
Yeah.
So how did you get into Swannian?
It was sort of accidental, I suppose. I was obviously bike rider a long time ago. When I say bike rider, that's the loosest sense of the term. I had a license and I did a bit of racing. And then I got to like the stage where I thought maybe it's a bit late to be thinking I can ride the Tour de France, so I gave up. And then went off and did various different other things in my life, and ended up doing a sports therapy diploma, much like you.
Yeah.
And 2005, I think it was, an old mate of mine who I used to race with called Nick Kenwright, who's actually living in Australia now. He's a teacher in Australia, surf dude. He rang me up and said, do you want to come and do some work for British Cycling? And I was like, why not, a bit of busting holiday? Why not? Get back in cycling. I haven't been in cycling for a long time. I went with the under-23 BC development team at the time. So I think I think that race, John Erity was the team manager. Rod was just starting out, Rod Ellingworth.
As a coach?
Yeah. He was just taking over from John at the time. And before they did all the, when they went over to Italy. Which were like the Swifty and Yogi and all went over for. Mm-hmm. I think on the team was Cav, Ed, Bramia. I can't remember who else. We did Cintron Tour Mallorca.
Yeah.
So I think Cav was the first professional cyclist I ever massaged, actually.
Really?
Yeah. When he was a little baby face.
That's a pretty big deal. So then you stayed at British Cycling for a while, or did you move on to?
No. I was going to do some more. I really enjoyed it, and I thought I might get back into this. And I remember John and Rod, and Nick saying, "Do you want to do some more?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely do some more." And then me and my wife had our daughter, and they were just there went out the window then, which wasn't enough, wasn't enough time and stuff really, and it just went on the back burner. I think then, what would it have been, 2008, I think it was 2007, 2008. Julian Wynn, who was like a real good mate of mine. He was working for working for BC at the time, and he was coaching the women's team. And it was 2008 was obviously Project Nicole Cook.
Yeah, at Beijing.
For the World's Olympics. And did a bit. He said, do you want to do a bit of work? And I was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, did a bit of work with him on and off. And then that year, then they obviously, Nicole won the World's Olympics. And that finished. And then next year, Winnie left. And I then started with Pinarello Racing Team, Griffo.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, do you want to come do some work?" So I just did a bit of work on and off, and that bumbled along from doing in my work holidays, and then end of 2010 then when he went with Endura and said, "Oh, do you want to come full time?" And that was it. Yeah, I went full time in 2010.
Oh, so it was the first time you went full time then for Endura.
Yeah.
Oh, mega. So then, I came in 2011, and then I think the first tour we did was the Tour of Alsace.
Yeah.
Weren't it? That was like I said this to everybody, like being a Swanee, if you're a young single man, there is no better job in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, don't go in the Navy, don't go in the Army. If you want to see the world and you want an exciting job, become a Swanee.
Oh, definitely.
It's such a fun job, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
So then you were with Endura for a few years.
Yeah, two years. Yeah, 2 years Endura. So 2011, 2012, and then they finished, and that went to NetApp Endura. But I didn't go with them then. I was looking for a contract, and I think it was at that 2012 Tour Britain, which John Tien and Locke won.
Yeah.
I was at. So it would have been Nigel Mansell was in with UK Youth.
Yeah.
And Dave Povell. So they come and asked me if I wanted to join them, and I went with them then for 2013.
So that's when we did the Mallorca training camp, weren't it?
Yeah.
That was a good time as well.
Yeah.
That was
over in
Roach's place, weren't it?
Yeah. Cycling Holiday Hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
So then
used that in Enduro as well.
Did they?
Mm.
So what point did you become a Sky Swannier? This was just after UK Youth, weren't it?
Yeah, so that ended. So obviously 2013 that ended as they always do. The cycling teams come to an end, and I was then looking for another contract again. And I remember talking to John Arity at the Tour Britain, and he was like, "Yeah, you can come with us next year, but maybe you should speak to Rod again. Try and get him with Sky."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh," he said, "Just send him an email, remind him about who you are, and tell him you spoke to me, and see what happens." So he said, "Otherwise, just I'll sort you out. You can come work with me next year." Oh, great! So just send Rod off an email saying, "Look, this is what's happening. Wondering if you get some days, if you could try out." And he's like, "I'll come and try out for the team in the Mallorca training camp in December." So I went over there for a week, did a tryout, and they were happy. And so I can give you some days. There's no contracts at the moment, but definitely give you some days next year and see how it goes. I was like, perfect. And then so did 2014. I did 210 days freelance. So like a full time.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
So there was no contract, no specific days that they were going to get you on, but they ended up taking you for that long.
210 days, yeah. And then end of that year, then they offered me a full-time contract and been there ever since.
Holy moly! So, talk me through a day in the. We're going to get onto coffee shortly, right? But I find this whole, because I don't know if it's because I've done it, but I just find it so fascinating. Like Cam, do you have much to do with? Obviously, you've not been on teams where there's been loads of Swannies and additional help, but have you had any experience with like helpers and Swannies and stuff like that?
Yeah, but I guess with us, like with St. Piran, it was only really for select races. So like the longer stage races that we did, like for example, the RAS over in Ireland, we had a couple of guys, one person was doing massages and the other was basically Swanee and doing bottles and looking after you. And it makes such a difference, man. Like
I was gonna say, like how much of a difference does it make?
Oh, it's tenfold. Like it's not having to worry about making it, like simple things like making your bottles in the morning. Like you just literally wake up, have your breakfast, put your kit on, and the mechanic's taking care of your bike. Like you literally just wake up, eat your food, get dressed, and go downstairs and there's a car waiting to take you to the start line where your bike's ready and your bottles are there, all your food's prepped. Like it's But I guess like bike racing is such a hard sport that for all of the little kind of stresses, the idea is to take as much stress away from the rider, isn't it? So they can kind of focus more on what they've got to do, and it's definitely a big help.
Yeah,
I think that's right. the whole point of the support team is, especially for endurance athletes, is to make sure all they got to do is, they rest, because rest is the most important. And if you've got to make your own bottles and carry your own suitcase, then immediately you're at a disadvantage. So, yeah, just that ability to be able to do nothing but ride your bike is what we're there for.
Yeah. So give us a typical day on like, let's go Tour de France. What would your typical day consist of?
I think it does depend what job you've got. So in a big World Tour team, you'll have different Swannies doing different things. So we call them carers now, not
Sorry.
Swannies.
Yeah, we should say that, shouldn't we? It's not PC to call it a Swannie. So you're a carer.
Carer.
Jeez.
So yeah. So it depends if you're on the race or you're on the hotel. So we have two different teams: one to do the hotel and one to do the race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how many Swannies would carers? How many carers would you have on a World Tour race then?
Now on a Grand Tour, we will have now, I think it's, I'm trying to think now, 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
you have one who'll do the bus. So they'll look after all the nutrition for the bus, go to the race and back from the race on the bus, making sure the riders have got what they need, fetching, carrying, whatever they need. Then you'll have 2 who go to the feed and do the finish line and the start. Then at the hotel, you have another 3. So you've got what I normally do is we've got what we call a service truck. We've got lots of big vehicles, and one of the big vehicles that we have, which we introduced a few seasons ago, is called the service truck. Now, this truck has a fridge compartment, a laundry compartment, a storage compartment. So when we've got an extra, basically it was designed and created for the laundry, so we can wash all the riders' kit separately to minimize infection, because one of the single most detrimental issues on a Grand Tour is saddle sores. You can be winning a race and one rider can get a saddle sore. He's out after the first week and then you're a man down, and that's massive in a Grand Tour. So that's one thing we've looked at doing, and I drive that truck. So that's going from the hotel to the hotel,
right,
and preparing the race food. So we'll have 5 of the guys doing massage and me just driving the truck, preparing race food, doing the bottles and looking after the laundry.
So hold on, you wash each individual rider's kit separately?
Yeah.
So for obviously the people who don't know, with bike rides, we have a laundry net, so everyone gives their kit separately in the laundry net, so we know who's who, and it gets washed in the net. Yeah.
But in these laundry nets, you stick 4 or 5 of those in the washing machine, they don't get washed properly, especially if it's really crap weather, because they just get bundled up together and they don't separate, so they don't get washed properly. So what we do is we separate it, we mark everything, we separate it, and we wash shorts separately. Right. So they get laundered, wash them at higher temperature and launder them separately.
Oh,
I don't think since we've introduced that, we have not had one retirement from a Grand Tour with a saddle sore.
Boom, marginal gains.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And how many wash machines are there on the truck?
3 washing machines, 3 dryers.
So do you dry the kit as well? Does that not? Well, I suppose they only wear it a couple of times, don't they? So it don't really matter if it screws it up.
Yeah, we dry it. Yeah, we dry it. So what I usually do is I part dry it in the machines, then I'll hang it, and it's an insulated room, so you just dry it overnight.
That's amazing. So what's on the menu in terms of race food? Because I used to love, like, you used to make the best rice cakes. Like, you introduced me to rice cakes. When we were on the Mallorca camp, I think we were making eggs. There was bacon and soy sauce in there. That was like my favourite. Is it still the same? Are you still cooking the old rice cakes?
It's changed over the years. With us, it's changed, and it usually changes because of nutrition and performance and what the best is at the time and what we're advised by nutritionists, and 2, just personal choice by the riders. Yogi might like chocolate and Teo might like fruit. You know. So it depends. Before the race, we'll get an opinion of what people want and what they don't want, because there's no point in making a batch of rice cakes someone's going to eat. So we'll see who the riders are going to be, send them a mail, say, right, okay, guys, what's everyone's favourite? So we'll make sure we can put these in and rotate them. So
Cam, what's your favourite race food?
My favourite race food. I mean, I've not really had the luxury of Ben's equine skills, but I normally like pretty plain stuff because I feel like, especially over many days, if you're constantly having like dead sweet sugary stuff, it doesn't sit well in my stomach. So like, yeah, some pretty standard rice cake, I reckon. Like,
yeah, that's what we'll do. We have like we'll always do a plain one, and then we'll do fruit. Fruit and plain is basically what we do at the moment.
I like the raisin one, the raisin and Nutella. Oh no, it was Philadelphia chocolate spread. That was another level.
Well, I remember in the RAS, Swanee was doing like these Nutella things, and at the start it was like, oh, these are great, man. Like, this is so nice. And then literally by day number 4 or 5, you heard the name Nutella and you just wanted to be sick.
Yeah, yeah. You can imagine like a grand tour, and you're 21 stages in, a bag full of rice cakes off.
I couldn't think of that yet.
Throw it at you.
Or you're making them as well, like, 20 stages in, and you're putting the rice cooker on, you're like.
So how many do you make in a session?
What's for dinner? It's risotto. Yeah, great.
Even more rice. So how many do you go through in a day? How many rice cakes do you make?
So actually, funny enough, the tour that G won, we had the BBC there, and I never thought about it before. And we did an interview. I was doing the rice cakes, and he's like, "Oh, so how many rice cakes do you make?" And I was like, "Do you know, I actually don't know." So I sat and worked it out. And during the Tour de France that Geraint Thomas won, I made 3,900 rice cakes.
Shit, really?
1,900 paninis.
Oh, them paninis are good.
I bet you don't have another panini until the next Grand Tour, do you?
Yeah, you don't touch rice, don't touch anything.
Wrong.
Oh, mate, that's crazy.
That smell of rice pudding, cinnamon and sugar.
So here's a question, Ben. You're not going to answer it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Who's the most difficult rider to work with?
Oh, Pritchard. Back in the day.
Luckily, you never had to work with me, but if you did, you would have realised that I was such a diva.
You're just a princess, Chris.
No. Who's the best rider to work with?
Oh, I did it. There isn't. They're all good. They're all good, actually. To be fair, there's no, I think what you have to do as well, you have to understand that it's their job. Mm-hmm. You can never take anything personally. At the end of the day, it's a stressful situation. It's a results job, and you have to understand that these guys are on the limit. And half the time, they don't even know who you are, especially in a race. Like if you're in a feed zone, for example, and you're giving out a bag or a bottle, and you drop it or give it, and then like you say, "Oh God, I've done a big massive mistake there."
Yeah.
And you're like, after the race, "Oh, sorry, Yogi, I dropped your bottle." And he's like, "Oh, was it you?" You don't even know, like they're full on.
Yeah,
they may shout at you and go, "You fucking idiot!" But it's it's eat the moment.
Yeah,
and if if you keep on doing it, you don't do your job properly, then you're out anyway. You're not doing your job properly.
Yeah, I remember the first time I had to hand. You were like, "Right, take that bottle, go and stand up there and give this bottle out." I was absolutely bricking it. I had no idea what to expect. And like this peloton's coming at me. I think it was the first stage of Alsace. And I remember looking at them and seeing the speed they were going. I was like, what the shit? And I just held this bottle out and like, I can't remember who it was. It might have been John. Like bang, snatched it straight away. I was like, holy shit, this is fun. Bang, straight and got another one, then got the musettes out. And then you're kind of well into it. There is a sense of pride in doing that job as well, isn't there? The fact that you're part of, like even just Alsace, John ended up winning that, and like I felt amazing to be part of that, and I just played a tiny small part in it. So like if you end up going to a World Tour, Tour de France, Giro, La Vuelta, and you end up being part of that team, it must be an amazing feeling getting on the bus afterwards at the end.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you feel part of that success, like with G?
Yeah, definitely. It was, it's incredible. I think if you'd have told me when I first started doing this job, I would go to the Tour de France, I'd have laughed. And if you told me I'd win 4, then I'd have been really laughing. And think, it's the dream job. And, a lot of people do this, riders, staff, everybody, they dream of doing the biggest races. Yeah. And to go to it is an amazing thing. But to be part of so much success is unreal. I think, when you look, the biggest thing for me, I think about when I look back in maybe, 10, 15, 20 years, you'll think, this has been part of one of probably the greatest cycling team has ever been. It's not discount Quick Step and they're probably the currently the most successful on results. But when you see what we've done at the top level, what we won. We dominated Grand Tours over the last 10 years. I think, it's pretty cool.
Essentially, the success started when you joined them. So, let's join the
rice cake.
That's it. It's all down to your blooming rice cakes. Right. Let's move the topic on to another exciting venture that you've got going on. Probably the main reason we got you on, really. Grand Tour Coffee. Now, behind you, I can see that there's a jersey up there.
Yeah.
Is that the jersey?
The prize jersey.
So, first up, tell us about Grand Tour Coffee. How did it all start?
I started actually in 2013 when I was working for UK Youth. Mm-hmm. So I remember being there thinking, well, I got into this thinking this is what I was going to do this for, the next X amount of years. But then contract ends with Endura. Then I found out UK Youth is going to end. And I think, well, no matter if I get into the team or not, this could happen again. And it probably will, because that's how sport works.
Yeah.
Especially cycling, it's that roll-on effect, isn't it? A team comes, it goes. A team comes, it goes. I mean, I think there's only a few World Tour teams like us who've lasted more than a few years, so it just shows you how difficult it is to stay there. Mm-hmm. And I just think I need to do something else. I need to use what I've learned in cycling to maybe push that forward. And I remember thinking, obviously, coffee and cycling is synonymous, the relationship.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, no one's actually doing coffee for cyclists, and it's probably the people who use it the most and the most synonymous with it.
Yep.
And actually, next door to the service course for UK Youth down in Exeter, which is Nigel Mansell's go-kart track,
brilliant,
was a coffee roasting company. And just thinking, oh, this is pretty cool. So I just went and knocked the door and said, oh, any chance we'll look around. Got to know the guy there who owned it and talked to him about my idea, and it went from there.
Mega. And so from that, we now have, we have a new flavour out, but originally we started with 4 different roasts.
Yeah.
So what were they?
Blends and single oranges. So we started with Roulette, which is a blend, Podium, which is a single origin, Full Gas, which is a single origin, and Wheel Sucker, which is a decaf.
Which I've got up here. I've not opened my Wheel Sucker yet, because every time I have a coffee, I want to be hit with some caffeine.
Caffeinated.
So how's your your coffee knowledge? Are you good at roasting? You're pretty well versed in it now?
It's not. It's nowhere near what it should be. Definitely not. I mean, you're learning every day. I've got plenty. I'm reading all the time.
Boom.
That's the exciting thing about it. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
I know what I like. And what I like is what I wanted to give to people, and I want to learn along the way. I'm learning stuff all the time. It's really exciting. It's like anything. When you really enjoy something, it's exciting to learn about it.
So, how do you take your coffee?
Black, no sugar.
Is that the way it should be taken?
Yeah. I think it's like anything you eat and drink is subjective.
Yeah.
If you like it with a ton of milk in and 50 sugars, then that's up to you. I don't think you should ever tell somebody what they should and shouldn't have. I just wanted to do something which I thought people would like, and a variation of it, associated with cycling, associated with my association with cycling, and what I've done, and just give something that people felt part. I think especially cyclists, they like to be a part of something, and if they got that, if they got that link between buying some coffee off a guy who's been to the Tour de France and won it, then is why not? Yeah.
Cam, what's your favourite blend of the Grand Tour coffee range?
The Full Gas one, the strong one.
Of course it is. Yeah. I like.
I also haven't even opened the decaf one.
That's a real cyclist, isn't it? I like the Roulette. The Roulette is the number 4 one, isn't it? The Strength 4.
Yeah.
And Podium's 3. I like the Roulette. I don't like it too full gas.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of milk, bit of honey. Boom. I would like
honey.
Oh God. What have I said?
Honey.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah. Why not?
What? How'd
you take your coffee, big boy?
Just like every other person. I like a black coffee. That's black coffee right in there. Or sometimes a bit of milk, but I don't put fucking honey in it. Sorry, shouldn't swear, but
listen, the coffee connoisseur says it's subjective.
Yeah, it is to an extent. I agree.
All right. Well, people listening to this, leave your comments down below. What's the weirdest thing you've put in your coffee? Honey just makes it sweeter. It's less. It's healthier than normal granule sugar, isn't it?
But like, am I right in thinking like in a proper cup of coffee, you shouldn't put sugar in it? Like you should have it kind of. You're taking away from the taste and the flavors of the coffee. Is that not a thing?
No, I'm adding to it.
Personally, for me, I think it's just you just drink it as it is. You don't add anything to it. It was never drunk like that in the first place. I don't get it. I don't like milk, and I don't like sugar. I think you put sugar in, you can't taste the coffee. But if people want to put it in, that's up to them.
Screw you guys. This podcast ending now after that.
So, Ben, when did you actually start? Like, when did you officially launch Grand Tour Coffee?
December last year. So next month it'll be going a year.
Yeah. So I thought it was around then. But how has it been launching a coffee essentially at the start of a pandemic? How have you managed to cope with that?
I think I'm lucky in the fact I've got a job.
Yeah.
So I was never in a position where I had to make money to pay the mortgage, which is good. And also, I'm lucky that it's an online store. So it's a horrible thing to say, but it's benefited me because people were still able to buy something without going out, having to go to the supermarket. Of course, it's still people aren't spending as much as they want to because everyone's concerned about money, jobs, stuff like that. But yeah, if I can do well at the moment, then when this is all back to normal, then hopefully I can do a lot better.
I put out on Instagram today a question request to see if anybody had any coffee questions that we could fire your way. Are you ready for them?
This did not go well.
It went pretty well. Right. Are you? I don't know if you're going to be able to answer these or not, but hopefully you're going to be able to. Right. Friend of the show, Niels, he says, as a student, I consume copious amounts of coffee. Is there a limit?
Is there a limit? That's more for a doctor, I would say, not a coffee company owner.
Not someone trying to sell it.
There is absolutely
no limit. Buy as much as you can.
I guess there is a limit, though.
Please follow the link for wholesale.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, get a massive bag of it and try it and see what happens. Just consume it all in a day.
I think there's definitely coffee is very much misunderstood. There is a lot of evidence or a false evidence that is from quite a number of years ago that says coffee is diuretic and it is harmful to health. But like anything you eat or drink too much of, it's harmful to health.
Yeah,
obviously, that's a simple.
If water can kill you if you have too much of it, it's the same. The same goes for everything, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, Niels. Drink in moderation.
Coffee is actually extremely healthy. There's a lot of health benefits. Go on. And is more and more is being investigated by medical professionals to find out how it can benefit health. It's certainly not as detrimental as everybody thinks, but like it's obviously caffeine's a stimulant, so anything that's got a stimulant you have too much of is not good for you. So I wouldn't advise everyone to be drinking 1,000 espressos every day, unless they're going to go raving or something. But
if you're going raving, you're not drinking coffee, mate. Come on.
No.
Right, next one. Best way to brew with an AeroPress. Now, I've never used an AeroPress.
Best way to brew with an AeroPress.
Do you use them or not?
Me personally, no, because I like espresso. I like the traditional espresso, so I don't use that.
So how do you make your espresso?
It would also depend. Like the different brewing methods lend themselves better to certain blends and origins as well. Like the Forza we've just released is specifically for espresso and espresso machines. So you wouldn't use a pour of a method or cafetiere for it because you wouldn't taste how it should do. So it does depend on what coffee you're using. So you definitely want to be linking the best coffee to the brewing method you're using.
I never knew that. So can you wreck a coffee by one thing I've always wondered is, can you wreck coffee by pouring boiling water over it? Does it burn or not?
It should be a certain temperature. Yeah, it should be. When you set up a machine or you have a certain brewing method like a pour over or an AeroPress, if you want to be really into it, you temperature test the water. But because when, like anything, food and drink, if you burn it, it will taste different. You're essentially cooking it, so you don't want it to be, and you don't want it to be boiling because it's gonna tarnish the flavour because you're altering it through heat.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but I always thought they roast the bean, so at that point, it can't have got any hotter than that. So,
yeah, but you're roasting the bean to attain a certain flavour profile, so it's finished then. So if you then grind it and then pour water over it, you're gonna, that's the flavour you're gonna release. And if you have too hot of water, then you're gonna change it again. You're gonna probably almost roast it again if you like. You're gonna change it. You're gonna burn it.
Good point.
It will take cold coffee tastes different to hot coffee, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, good point. That machine, hey Cam, that machine that we had in the Alps. What was that? Your coffee machine that we had?
That was a DeLonghi La Specialista. It's called.
Mate, that was.
It's basically like a cheaper rocket espresso machine, isn't it?
Yeah,
worked a treat.
DeLonghi, good company.
Yeah,
it's good. But actually, one of my mate that lives near me came the other week. He's he just he's my best mate. He let himself in through my back door, and he wanted to make himself a coffee, and I wasn't here. Yeah, he did. And he wanted to make himself a coffee, and he took the portafilter, just yanked in the grinder, the coffee ground out, and then he yanked in the machine, and he just pressed all the buttons along the top, and he basically broke it. So I've got to send it off to get it serviced. So now when I try and extract it, the pressure gauge just like flies to red, like to dangerous, and nothing happens. So I don't know what he's done to it, but he's well and truly naffed it up. So I've got to send it off and get it repaired. But
so would like a bean to cup machine, Ben? Can you get a good roast from that? Like for me personally, I'd know the difference between your coffee and an instant, but would I know the difference between a badly made cup of Grand Tour coffee by myself in a cafetiere and a kind of like a bean to cup machine?
I think it's difficult to mess it up in a cafetiere because you basically got a certain amount of coffee, hot water, and you brew it. But with an espresso machine, it's all about the extraction. So if you don't extract it properly, where the grind is suitable for that coffee, so it can be too small, it can be too coarse, too fine or too coarse. And then if you're extracting it for too long, it can affect it. If you're not extracting it enough, it can affect it. So I could give you two coffees and they would definitely taste different, but they would be the same bean.
Right.
In the way you extract it.
So when you're saying extract it, do you mean, is that basically pouring the water through the...
Yeah, so like Cam was saying with the La Specialista, you have this thing called the portafilter, which we go into a coffee shop and they get the thing with the handle on, they put the coffee, make that noise, they stick it in and the water passes through, they take it out and then that's your coffee. Yeah. So if you're putting the coffee into the portafilter, which is the thing with the handle, and it's too coarse, the ground is too coarse, then it won't extract properly. The water will flow through too much. It won't extract the coffee enough. So you'll have like a watery,
and take the flavour with
nice
it.
Flavour. And if it's too fine, then it'll be too difficult for the water to get through. So it'll under extract, and then you'll just have like this thick tar at the bottom, which is the coffee without any water in. So that'll taste extremely intense. So you've got to get that balance right.
Yeah, I remember when I first got my machine, I spent so long just slightly changing like how much it grinds the beans to just get it right. And I remember I went through so much coffee and trying to do it.
And then change the coffee, and then you've got to do that again, and you waste a little coffee again.
Yeah, but apparently, so my girlfriend works in a cafe. She's a barista in a cafe, and she said that every day that they have to like re-weigh out the coffee and stuff because it can change density, like depending on the air climate and moisture in the air.
And when you get into it, there's like it's marginal gains on the coffee. I tell you, there's so many. And that's coffee knowledge, and I'm there, and it's just that already. I'm like, it's blowing my mind.
Really? Yeah. Is it that much?
So much. Yeah.
But then people like me go and spoil it by putting honey in it and putting milk in it. Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry, gents. Another question from Russ Ellis. Cappuccino after 11. Now, I don't know if that's 11 a.m. or p.m. I presume it's 11 a.m.
If you're in Italy and you want to get lynched, then yes. But you should know that.
Why not?
Good. It's just not done.
It's a breakfast coffee, isn't it?
Yeah, you go to Italy and ask for a cappuccino. Either you'll probably get thrown out. Someone will give you a clip, or they'll just say no. It won't happen.
So if you go to Italy, you have to.
We did the Giro, like, I think must be at least 4 or 5 years ago, and we were in the, I think it was a rest day, or maybe we were in the bar in the hotel, and a good friend of mine who's the physio at Ineos, Nathan Thomas, he was like, I want a coffee. We had dinner, and we sat down in the bar having a chat. Having a coffee, yeah, get a couple of espresso. I'll have a cappuccino. We were like, and it was like literally walking into a bar where no one knows you, and they just went silent, and the woman looked at me. She just went, no. He was like, why not? It was like, I want a cappuccino. She's like, no.
That's amazing.
And she flat refused to give him a cappuccino.
Wow, I never knew it was that bad out there. So let's finish off on some. What stories can you tell us from the world of cycling that a lot of people won't know about? Like, what interesting stories have we got from?
Like funny stories or
literally anything. Have you ever walked in on let's say another team by mistake, and there's been someone injecting EPO into the system?
No.
Sorry, I'll come back later. Obviously, that doesn't go on in Ineos.
No, I haven't. If they're doing stuff like that for people to walk in, they're not doing a very good job.
Then are they?
They were around for long. No, definitely not seen anything like that.
No.
Thank God. I think, but on a serious note, there's definitely this sport has never been so clean, and it's from my impression, what I see.
Yeah.
You know, and they are the most tested athletes in the world. It's the cleanest sport in the world, without doubt. Without doubt, there's nobody tested like professional cyclists are tested.
No, my sorry, quick to interrupt you. My brother's a professional boxer, and he's had 12 pro wins now, like 4 or 5 knockouts, like never lost, and he's been tested I think once. Like, and he's been professional for like the last 4 years.
Really?
And he's been tested once.
Well, that's it. I guess like cycling, obviously the days gone by are going to tarnish it for its entirety. There's no two ways of getting around that. But because it's the most tested, and because you hear about it the most, because it is the most tested sport.
Exactly.
Like every other sport, just sweeps it under the carpet. But you've got to kind of give cycling.
Am I right in thinking that in American football, they don't even have to make positive tests public knowledge? Like, they can give people silent bans, and they can just say that they're out for injury. I'm pretty sure that is they don't have to publicly announce when a player tests positive for a banned substance, which is like insane.
Like, cycling's giving itself a bad name by outing these riders, but at the same time, it's cleaning up the sport, like Ben says. And I'm under no doubt. I like to have a bit of a laugh and a joke about it, but I like seriously under the impression that it is as clean as it ever has been and ever will be. And I know we're going to get
how many tests get done daily, and how many positive tests do you hear of these days? Not many.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Talking of tests, how many COVID tests did you have while you were out there?
Oh, mate, they are rough. It's not nice.
It can't be as bad as an STI check, surely.
Yeah, it's the same up your nose, apparently.
What, would you rather take it up your nose or down your...
Well, neither.
Well, I know.
Oh, it's rough. They were doing the hotel, and they did this long cotton bud.
Nice.
It must be about half a foot long. And you sit down, you put your mask on, your mouth, and you go back like that. And then she gets it, and she just literally put it inside your head.
Oh.
And I remember you're in the queue and you're watching your mate in front of you, and it's like, oh my God, how has that possibly gone that far? And I've gone, look, in my really shit Italian, please be fucking careful, because I'm just take it easy. And then they're in there like,
you asked for a fucking cappuccino.
Never again.
You have to have a nosebleed.
Really?
Oh,
mate. And I've read literally, I think halfway through the Giro, I've read an article about someone having the brain, it's not sac, whatever,
like the fluid.
They've pierced the membrane. It's the brain membrane in some bloody test around somewhere in the world.
Can you get to your brain up there? You can't get to your brain up there, surely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's the internet. It must have been true.
Of course, yeah. Tickle your brain with a cotton bud.
I think I've had 18 or 20 tests now.
Really?
Yeah.
Blimey
It's
hell.
savage, mate. Coming out. The one woman said, I remember saying, if it's not a good test unless your eyes water.
Yeah, brilliant. That sold it to me.
Coming out going like, oh, my God.
It's a good test. So, how different was this, like the Giro this year, with everything that went on, compared to previous editions?
Or in the way it operates because of COVID, you mean?
Yeah.
I think just the way our jobs changed a bit, and the way, obviously, we had to wear masks, you know, all day, and but the hygiene is something we as a team have always been on top of. Again, like, you know, I talked about the not having saddle sores, retirements from saddle sores. I don't think we've had in the last, I don't know how many Grand Tours it is. We've not had an illness. We've not had a retirement through illness for, I don't know, God knows how many.
Really?
I mean, we've been pretty much the world leaders in hygiene in sport for the last 10 years, I think. So that, in that way, is not changed. The way we operated, in the fact that we had bubbles. So normally we as carers would go out and do shopping, you know, and be able to go into, you know, to shops and just do things in the community as normal. Whereas this time we had a separate person who would go out and do the shopping,
right?
And they would also go in front and check the hotel, make sure the hotel was clean as well. So that double sort of what's the word? You know, check, if you like.
Yeah.
So we some of the things we had to do a bit less of, and then some things we had to be a bit more on top of.
Yeah. And in terms of like having fans there and the whole atmosphere of getting to a start line or getting to the hotel, did you notice like it was completely different? Was it?
Yeah,
like...
definitely less people. I mean, I was at the hotel all the time. I went to the race once, and even that once, you could see there wasn't many people, and we were very much secluded from people being able to come to us. So
yeah, did that make it better for the riders? Not having to deal with that, or
I don't know really, to be honest. Didn't hear either way from them whether it did or it didn't.
Oh, it's interesting.
I think it was Mark Maddy who made a good point. You know, we were safer at work than we were at home.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a bubble. We're being regularly tested, and we're not taking any chances, and we're all together. So there's no outside influences. So it's actually it's probably the safest place to be on the planet.
And was every team as hygiene conscious as you were? Had they all stepped their level up, or did you not kind of get involved with other teams?
Didn't really get involved.
No.
I think it wasn't something. Again, and unfortunately, it will depend on budget and what's the word? What's available for you to use? You know, if you haven't got the money and the people, then it's difficult.
You do the best you can with what you've got, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and everybody has their own levels of risk perception.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess more
one
people.
guy thinks COVID is a myth and it's a conspiracy theory. The next guy just wasn't leave his bedroom. So
yeah,
you're never gonna. That's the problem we have, I think, with it.
All right, and let's finish off on this one. Let's talk about Teo and what he achieved over the Grand Tour, because that was absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, I think it was by the six of them who finished, you know, and also, you know, Jonathan Nevice, who unfortunately crashed out and won a stage and then crashed out and had to leave. Even G, you got to feel pretty sorry for G. It was a freak accident, you know, and no doubt he would have had a very, very good chance of winning. You know, he was in good shape, and for those guys, after losing, you know, a very good chance of winning, probably the best chance of winning, in the first stage. And then thinking, right, okay, so we've got 20 stages to go here. We need to, or 9, suppose you 2020, so 19 stages to go. What we're going to do? 7 guys, no GC rider. What should we do? And unfortunately, we had people like Filippo Ganna who can just go out and mule everybody.
Yeah. What guy?
In a 60-10 gearing or something, just smashing it like it's fun. I think it's already been said, but for Teo, who turned up on the original Sky Ride as a fan, bunking off school, to go becoming a professional cyclist, to riding for the team he admired, to winning arguably the second biggest race in the world.
Mm-hmm.
All the Vuelta fans will be shouting now. It's just, dreams are made of, aren't they? I think it's great for the sport, great for British cycling, and great for kids going, bloody hell, I can,
Yeah.
And could you see it? Could you see it earlier on in the race, or when he started sitting there with the front groups? Like, was that a surprise for you guys, or could deep down did you sort of know that he was not capable? Because I guess he's capable, but did you believe that he'd be up there so early on?
I don't know if I believed it. I think it was a case of believing. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
After you lose a Grand Tour winner, the winner, Geraint Thomas, probably one of the best Grand Tour riders in the world, and you think, well, that's pretty much it, isn't it? What are we going to do now? Teo was 126th after the time trial, the prologue, 126th.
Really?
I think it was 120. That's what I heard. Yeah, I could be wrong, but and then he won the fucking race. So he's going to be 126 after the first stage. He's going to win it. It's a bit like, you're not going to, betting men probably wouldn't have.
You'd have got some good odds on that. So when G went out, did how does that affect like the whole of the team? Does it change the mood of it? I think it can't not change the mood, but I think what we are very good at is getting on with it. At the end of the day, there's still 7 other guys who want to do well, and we're still there. We didn't go home, so I think it's we still said, right, okay, we've still got a job to do. We definitely got guys who can win stages, so we need to be behind them. We don't change anything. We just do the best. We do what we need to do. Yeah. So we spoke about it briefly, but behind you is a Ineos Grenadiers jersey signed by the 6 riders that finished the Giro. Probably the most famous on there is obviously Ben Swift.
Of course.
Standard. One of the only riders not to win a bloody stage.
I know. Get in, friend.
I know.
Rode well. They did. Rode well.
So is that's got Teo, Filippo, Swifty, Rowan,
Dennis, and Castro.
Right, and you're giving that away.
Yeah.
People are going to want to know how to win this. What needs to happen?
Don't tell the 6 riders I said it was for me.
Or not. Secret safe. None of them watch this. Not even Swifty.
So the competition, I think it'll be an Instagram competition where you tag, you comment, and you follow.
Sweet. So the best thing to do right now, before that competition goes live, is get everybody to follow Grand Tour Coffee on Instagram, right?
Follow it. See when it'll be at the net. I think we'll probably do it for middle of November, run it through to the end of December because it's a pretty good prize. So I want to do it as long as possible.
Oh yeah.
Many people as possible a chance to win it, and get that going for middle of November, 6 weeks. I think if we get people to like the page, say tag 3 coffee ride mates,
mint,
comment on it, and share it.
Well, that's me out then because I don't have any mates, so I'm not gonna win that.
You can tag me 3 times.
We'll probably give away some coffee as well.
Sweet. Oh, is that the new blend, by the way, Ben? There's a new blend coming out, you mentioned, Forza?
Out now, Forza. Yeah, Italians, like in homage, I suppose, to Giro and our win.
Mint. When are we going to do a Chris Pritchard blend?
When you win the Giro.
When you stop putting honey in it.
I wonder what it'd be called. I wonder what it'd taste like. It'd be flat, tasteless, muddy, and shit. The worst coffee in the world. Right, gents. Ben, Cam, have you got any more to add to this amazing podcast?
I don't think so. Cheers for coming on, Ben. I appreciate you giving up an hour of your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you for listening, everybody. Ben Jenkins, a.k.a. Big Time, a.k.a. the Coffee Connoisseur, a.k.a. CEO of Grand Tour Coffee and carer of Ineos Grenadiers. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully we'll get you on again and you can tell us some of those stories that we shouldn't know about behind the scenes of Ineos Grenadiers. Ben, thank you so much. Cameron Jeffers, thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
See you all on the next one.